So we've just finished the first half of the year. A lot of movies have come out. We're going to narrow it down, aren't we? Mm-hmm. That wasn't an easy task.
That wasn't an easy task. Okay, maybe it wasn't for you, but it was quite easy for me.
Let's get into it. Hello there, Clapperheads, and welcome to another edition of ClapperTalks. I am Nick Dorian.
And I'm Kelvin Tay.
And we are your hosts as usual. We are back. We took a little bit of a break, but we're back now.
To be fair,
yes,
we took a break because I was sick. I unfortunately got COVID, so we had to take a break for a while, and I wasn't feeling all that well, so he had to take over.
And do absolutely nothing because there's been no episode for the last 2 weeks.
I mean, the podcast itself wasn't live, right? We didn't have new episodes, but if you want to check out more movie reviews and whatnot, where can they go?
Just go to ClapperTalks on Instagram, TikTok, and of course YouTube, and go and subscribe to that YouTube channel because we're going to be predominantly on there, including this podcast. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasting needs. But that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about is our top 3 films of 2024 so far. We've got a lot coming ahead of us. We've got films like Gladiator 2, Joker, Folie à Deux.
I mean, pardon my French.
Yeah, and one that I'm actually a little bit excited for, Long Legs, the Nicolas Cage real messed up film.
Tell me more about that later.
Yes, I will. I think that comes out either next week or the week after.
Right now, I feel like anything that has to do with Nicolas Cage, and I'm glad that he's back and making more films again.
Yeah, because he needs the money.
Okay. Money aside, his talent as an actor,
yes,
fantastic.
Yes.
Folie à Deux, whatever it's pronounced.
That's fucking Whitney or whatever. Anyway, so my number 1 film right now, it's a bit of an avant-garde pick because it wasn't one of the mainstream films. Late Night with the Devil.
I know that film. It's the original Scarecrow guy from Batman.
Yes.
I never knew.
Silly. Oh yes. David Dastiano, but bitch or something.
Yes. That one.
Forgive me if I'm butchering your name. It's very early in the morning for me. But what I loved about this film is the fact that it really blurred that line between fact and fiction. Like, I genuinely thought that this was a real life event that took place and they filmed it. It was on a film set. If you don't know what the film is about, it's essentially a talk show host who brings on a guest who has been possessed by a demon. And of course, when somebody's possessed by a demon, nothing good happens. But it all takes place on this talk show. And that's the set itself, if I'm not mistaken, it's just based on like a late night talk show set, right? It was very much a Johnny Carson, The Tonight Show kind of thing.
You get a host seat, you get the usual sofa seat,
yes,
and then they have like, that's the movie itself.
Yes, and what was genius about it is the fact that they filmed it in that style. So it genuinely looks like you're watching an episode of this talk show because they've got the film grain on it. It's in 4:3 format, so it feels very old school. So that's when the lines get blurred a bit because there's gonna be a point where you're gonna look and go, wait, is this real right now? Are we watching an actual thing happen? I know these are actors, but at the same time, you feel like you're watching an episode of a show. That's the genius horror about it. This isn't a film that is gonna jump scare you and be like, oh, you gotta be scared now, things like The Conjuring and all that kind of thing. It's a very subtle horror. The third act gets a bit messed up, but the first and second act, it just feels like something's going to happen, but you don't know, and you're constantly at the edge of your seat.
It's one of those slow burns.
Yes.
Like there's a ticking time bomb.
Yes.
And you don't know if there's something going to jump out or it's just going to be, fizzle or sizzle out eventually.
Exactly. And that's the way that the pacing went as well, that it made that slow burn. That's what works so well about it because you really get sucked into it because they took their time. Right. So by the time that third act happened, you are fully hooked onto this film and you're like, oh no, what are we watching? Oh no. Yeah, it's a brilliant film that I would highly recommend anybody to watch. Even if you are squeamish, can't handle blood or whatnot, I still would recommend it because it's just not a masterclass in filmmaking, but it's such a different take in a film.
Right, okay.
I haven't seen something like this since BBC's Ghost Watch back in 97, where it was filmed in a house, a haunted house, and everybody thought it was real because it was on TV and it was done very mockumentary style.
Okay.
But everyone thought that was real, and this does the exact same thing but in a motion picture way.
Is there gore?
Third act.
Supernatural?
Of course.
Jump scares?
Not as much, like maybe 1 or 2 at most.
Is it a good film to watch with a bro or a girlfriend?
Bit of both.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
if your girlfriend loves horror, she will enjoy this.
Okay.
And even if she watches like basic horror, like just mainstream horror, she will enjoy this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the story that really grips you as well.
It's a film that I've been meaning to watch. It's on my watch list. It's on my I mean, what's a TBR list in film? TBR is like to be read. That's what they use at Two Book Nerds Talking. This is my TBR book list. To be watched.
TBW.
TBW list. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sounds like a bad disease.
Right.
I got TBW.
Yeah, I got TBW. Bro, you okay? But okay. It's definitely a film that I've been dying to watch. It's on my watch list. Something that I've been meaning to watch, but I still don't have the time to be carefree and just sit down and just enjoy the moment. Right. Okay.
Yeah, but highly recommend Late Night with the Devil.
Understood. I have one.
Yes.
It's called The Promised Land, starring Mads Mikkelsen. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Right. It's a film based in the 18th century Denmark, and then we have Mads Mikkelsen playing this character called Captain Ludwig Kallan. Right. Pardon my French. I'm bad at pronouncing names. Right. Basically, Captain Ludwig was tasked with turning a marshland into a farmland. Okay. And then, of course, like every hero's journey, there's like bad things happen to him.
Yeah.
And in this film, the bad things here is the government and the people within it. They don't believe in him. They don't see it happening because his successor has all failed. Right.
Okay.
So the movie itself is a slow burn. Right. It's definitely a very slow burn. But the build-up, the plot, and the entire story itself just makes it like... It sucks you into the story just to see, will he actually succeed? Because everyone who came before him failed and they all died.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's a bit of love, and then there's a bit of like struggle. And overall, I would say in terms of best film, this is definitely one of my best films that I watched this year.
And this is in Danish, right? Is this
Yes.
Okay. And I remember there was also this little girl that was involved as well. Like,
Yes.
What was the relationship with this girl and Mads' character?
Okay, so she's basically a kid that no one wanted. She is homeless. They're like a gypsy tribe.
Yeah.
She came out of nowhere, basically from the forest lah. And back then in the 18th century, they were looked down on. Right, they are not supposed to do work. Matt's character, Captain Ludwig, wasn't supposed to get any help whatsoever.
Yeah,
and then it slowly builds from him trying to hide her away while she's helping on the land.
Become sort of a father to her. Like.
Yes, right. Then it became a father figure as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the Promised Land.
The Promised Land.
That is something that's on my watch list as well, but I just haven't had. There's so many films.
I mean, if you're into historical pieces and you're into like I would say foreign films, right? And also a bit of slow burn.
Okay.
Definitely one of the better ones this year.
And speaking of foreign films, that leads on to mine, my second choice, which is a fairly obvious choice, I think, considering how much we talked about it in the last episode, Godzilla -1. Oh my God. Like, that has to be in my top 3.
Yeah, that's definitely a historical piece.
Yeah.
It happened.
It genuinely did. You don't remember the big... They talk about, forgive me, the atomic bomb, but it wasn't. It was Godzilla.
Yeah, it was Godzilla.
You did see through the cloud, there was just one Godzilla standing there.
Yeah.
Godzilla's real.
Sure.
I don't want to hear anyone else say that it's not. I visited Godzilla. He's in Shibuya at the top of a building. Godzilla's real, guys.
Yes, he is. Anyways, yeah.
But yes, Godzilla
-1.
because that is a film that rarely comes out.
Yeah.
It is a film that is a once in a while thing that just reminds you of the joy of cinema. And when a script is done well and everything works perfectly in sync, you get an honest classic that will last for generations.
And I just want to add one more thing. It's a very rare thing to hear a movie reviewer say this, but it's also a film that we're all begging for.
Yeah.
A black and white.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's out there.
It is.
It's out there.
Is it on Netflix yet?
No.
It is out there.
Yeah.
I know it is out there because I remember I sent you the link.
Yes.
Saying that Amazon Prime had it for rental, but Netflix is going to release it at some point. So I guess we just have to hold out for Netflix to release that black and white copy.
And if you want to hear the full review of what we talked about on Godzilla -1, links somewhere here.
Somewhere there, or just look for Godzilla. It's the 3rd episode. We don't have a lot of episodes, so it's fairly easy to find.
just click on the account name, and then click on the video. You'll find the video.
Yep.
It's there.
It's there.
It's there.
It's very popular, so it's there. But yeah, I think that doesn't need much more explanation because Godzilla -1 is a massively, all pun intended, fantastic film that is not only foreign, but it's Japanese as well. A film that, not to say a lot of Japanese films don't succeed in America, but they're very few. And this is one of the rare few that has succeeded in a massive, massive way.
Okay.
Now, what's your second film?
The Last Stop in Yuma Country.
Oh, I've heard about this too.
Yuma
County, yes.
Yeah. Have you
How
watched
is that?
it?
No, again, I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
How is that? Because I've heard about it.
I like how we both watch films, but the film preferences that we watch on our free time don't cross paths.
Yes.
Right? Which makes this conversation a lot greater because if you're a fan of oh crap, I can't remember the name. Oh no. Something Hotel.
Grand Budapest Hotel?
No, not Grand Budapest Hotel.
Hotel Artemis?
Hold on, I'm gonna take a break.
Abracadabra. 3, 2, 1.
Back from the break, I had to do a quick Google search. So if you're into films like Hateful Eight and also Bad Times at the El Royale, you know, a bit of mystery, a bit of thriller, a bit of true crime, I would say.
Yeah.
Then The Last Stop in Yuma County is definitely one that you just sit down and put a bag of chips, you have like a big gulp next to you, and then you just enjoy the show. Because I feel like the director, Francis Galuppi, that's a very cute name, is trying to model after Tarantino's film.
Okay.
Right? How Quentin Tarantino makes his film.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the essence that he made a very good slow burn true crime where the story slowly unfolds. I mean, just like Hateful Eight, right?
Yeah.
Right? You get the plot. You get why they're there.
Yeah.
All right? And then suddenly there's something bad that happens
Yes.
and just nice, you know, out of timing or out of chance, the bad guy is there also.
It's like an action mystery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're into that genre, like action, mystery, and a bit of a slow burn, you know, this one, it's a very nice Friday night movie.
Okay.
Right. And then it just keeps you guessing, keeps you on the toe. I'm not gonna ruin the last act, but just watch it. Just watch it.
Now, on to my third film, which is a fairly recent film, but it's something that I think a lot of people had negative criticisms when it was announced. And then when it came out, I have not heard a single bad thing about this film. Furiosa. Because this was a Mad Max film that I think not a lot of us expected. And the fact that it was Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road, we're like, okay, this is interesting. Charlize will be great to be back. And then they went, no, we're casting Anya Taylor-Joy. And everyone went, but Charlize was iconic as Furiosa. So that was another bout of hesitation about this film.
Do you think they actually look alike? Like just actress to actress?
I could see her grow up into that a little bit. But would I say they look alike? Not much.
Right.
But could grow into it.
Okay.
But then this film came out and blew everyone's minds. Like, George Miller still has it. He knows his law of Mad Max. It has and it's a slow burn as well. It feels like it's read out like a classic novel. It feels like a Lord of the Rings type film.
Yep.
Where it is deep, it is slow, it takes its time. You understand the characters. Everyone has a rich backstory to it. And the action sequences are great. I feel at the moment there are some criticisms because people are like, oh, there's not enough action based on Fury Road. But I feel like this film is actually miles ahead of Fury Road because there is such a rich story around this.
For me personally, I feel like films like Furiosa, for example, right? We had the original, not the original Mad Max, but what was the Mad Max before Furiosa again?
Fury Road.
Fury Road, right? You have Fury Road, and it's already such a lively lore-wise. Okay?
Yes.
Lore-wise, and you're like, wow, what happens, after the apocalypse? And then you get Fury Road. But then when Furiosa came out, I love how they built upon expanded universe in the terms of a prequel, where you get the backstories of almost everyone, to the point that you actually sympathize with them.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, oh wow, I never thought about this before. This is how they kind of grew into the character that we know currently.
Exactly. And one of the biggest surprises for me was Chris Hemsworth's performance. Like, I know he's a good actor, but my God, this man pulled out all the stops for this.
It's so refreshing to not see him as Thor.
Yes.
Right?
And not to see him as the action hero in that sense. This is a guy that's conniving, but at the same time, incredibly charming.
Yep.
Has a father figure kind of thing, but will destroy you in a heartbeat. It's such a layered character that I think he rarely gets to play.
I remember telling my girlfriend when I was watching this, he's the term I coined was he's a gentle psycho.
Yes.
He's a gentle.
That is a perfect phrase.
You know, he went through God knows numbers of trauma.
Yes.
He mentioned he's lost his wife, he's lost his daughter, which is why he has like the teddy bear hooked on. And then you understand his backstory, right? How he actually came. And then through the film, he's like this caring guy. But then on the back end, this guy is
messed up.
Mad. He's mad.
Yeah,
he put the mad in Mad Max, man.
That's a good segue for your next one, so I can forget that joke. That was awful.
I have a very cliche third.
Okay.
My cliche third is the Fall Guys. It needs no introduction.
I was going to put that my special mention because I enjoyed it.
It needs no introduction. It's exactly what a summer blockbuster should be like.
Yeah.
All right. It's fun. It's full of action. It's right? Full of, because it's a movie about the people behind the scenes.
Yes.
Fall Guys, right? Or stuntmen.
Yeah.
Right. And me personally, I always enjoy when people behind the scenes are recognized.
Yeah.
Right? I recently did this interview with the Edge Digital.
Yeah, go find that article, guys. It's a great article.
Somewhere, right? And when they interviewed me and they asked me, what is the most important part of a podcast? Immediately I said the producers, right? The producers, the editors, people behind the scenes that you don't see.
Yes.
Sure, you see them on credit.
Yeah.
But you only see their name.
And they do the hardest work of all.
Exactly. Same goes for the Fall Guys as well.
Yeah.
Right. People behind the scenes and the last arc of. Can I do spoilers? Can I?
Yeah, it's come out for a while now. If you haven't seen it, spoilers.
Yeah. Right. So the last act where all the stuntmen and stuntwomen were all just like out here fighting the bad guys. And I was like, let's freaking go. So if you just want some mindless action and a very fun, pseudo romance film,
kinda.
right? Fall Guys. Like it's a no-brainer recommendation.
Yeah.
If you just want a good time.
Yeah. Like there's been a lot of criticisms that say, oh, this film should have been more, it's not enough. I'm like, you know what?
It's just nice.
It's just nice. It's something you can turn off your brain for a while and just have a good time in the films. And that's what makes movies great sometimes.
Yep.
You need to have that balance of, we've got dark dramas that need a lot of thought, and then you just want to go and have some fun sometimes. And The Fall Guy was the perfect example of that.
I really love Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt.
Yeah, they have perfect chemistry.
Oh my God, man. And the action are, it's not like, wow, it's not out there, but the sound effect and
the soundtrack as well was fantastic.
And what's the word for it? Choreography?
Fight choreography.
Fight choreography?
Fight choreography. Perfect.
Beautiful, man.
Go watch The Fall Guy.
Watch The Fall Guys.
So yes, that has been our top 3. And we're going to take a break. And after that, we're going to feature some more honorable mentions that would have made it to the list. But unfortunately, there's only 3 we could choose.
Right.
So, of course, it was very difficult to narrow down just 3 films because we've had a lot of films come out in this first half of the year.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes, but a lot of it has been good. So, we decided to put a few honorable mentions because there are some other films as well that might not reach that level of standard, but is still a damn good watch for you to go and have a movie night with.
Can I start first?
Yes, of course.
There's one film that is actually on my number 1 before the top 3 that I mentioned
okay.
before my break. And that's Dune Part 2.
Oh, yes.
And I feel like if I were to include it into the list, it's like cheating. It's not giving films like, Fall Guys, Last Stop in Yuma County, and even The Promised Land a chance.
That's, regardless, it is a good film, Dune Part 2.
It's one of those, like, classic evergreen film that people will go back and watch it 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, right?
Yeah.
And Dune Part 2, I just want to put it as my honorable mention, because if I don't mention it, people will be like, in the comments later.
You didn't put Dune Part 2!
Yeah, right. Like, the reason why I left it out is because I feel like if I were to include it, it's cheating.
Yeah, I feel like Dune Part 2 even surpassed the first film.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a classic film that really took its time. And there was a lot more action this time because understandably the first film was very much setting up the story and then they could just go full steam ahead in Part 2.
Agreed.
And now I think there's a Part 3 coming.
There will be a Part 3 coming?
Yeah. And a TV series.
So Dune Part 2, I just want to put it out there. It's my best film so far. I mean, we're recording this in July 2024. My best film so far this year, period.
Speaking of golden age of films, one film that has jumped up to my top of my honorable mentions is a film that actually comes out today, Fly Me to the Moon.
Okay.
Fly Me to the Moon is a film that I feel rarely comes out in this day and age. We've got a lot of rom-coms, but this feels like I don't know if you know the films of Doris Day and Rock Hudson, the early 60s films. It feels like that. It's a very heyday of Hollywood, classic golden era film that you can watch over and over and over again. It gives you such a warm feeling. It's a greatly, tightly written script. Visuals as well. Everything, the pacing of it works so well because it is tight and it has massively wonderful, engaging visuals that you can watch as well. And it's directed by Greg Berlanti, who we all know from the Arrowverse.
Okay.
But he has injected so much fun and energy into this film, but at the same time, having great emotional downbeats as well, that it really is, what's the word for it? Like, it just plays out well. Like, when you read a novel, you don't feel there's any dull moments. It all flows very well to give a very even pace. That's it, a very even pace.
Right.
It speeds up, slows down, speeds up, slows down, and gives you time to relax and breathe in between the fun and magicness of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend Fly Me to the Moon. It's a great date movie. Take your girlfriend, take your wife. It's a great night out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more to add on my honorable mention list, which is Civil War.
I've heard about Civil War, but haven't seen that yet.
I would say it's not a film for a lot of people because I've read a lot of reviews, especially from American critics.
Yeah.
They all don't like it, mainly because it's a bit too close to home for them. But from someone seeing it from Malaysia, for example, again, personally, I like a lot of disaster films. Okay, so I see Civil War as a alternate disaster movie of what could have happened, or what may happen in the near or even far future in where we live right now in a very let's just say dangerous political climate without going too much into politics. Okay, I don't know anything. Just a disclaimer, I don't follow American politics, right? I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying it from a audience's point of view, right? Point of view. Civil War does journalist justice, right? Especially war journalists. If you wanna enjoy a war film without going too much into war combat or like war footages, just again behind the scenes of what goes through. It's intense. It's surprisingly has action. You follow the story of filmmaker Alex Garland, right? And she is this Pulitzer Prized journalist, goes into the war zone, documents everything, and you can just see the true cost of war, regardless what war we're talking about, right? And it really paints a picture of like, oh crap, this is actually what goes behind the scenes. There's a lot of things that are not covered because There's a lot of things that are covered because right? The reason why I use because I don't want to spoil the plot, right? It's really, really plot heavy, I would say.
Is it a very slow burn as well? It feels like one of those films.
It's not a Godzilla -1
Okay.
or even like the Promised Land slow burn.
Okay.
It's just nice burn,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
If that makes
So
sense.
like a chili padi burn, not so much
yeah,
like a
It
ghost
keeps,
pepper burn.
it keeps you on your toes, and then it kind of like, bro, chill, and then
Okay.
it keeps you on your toes again because you're just following them from point A to point B just to cover the big story,
Okay.
right? And throughout that journey itself, you slowly understand the character, why they're like this, you know, why they act a certain way, why they're so hard on certain people as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my next honorable mention is a film that's a remake, but you know how sometimes remakes are terrible. This one actually surprised me. Roadhouse.
Oh my god, why did I not add Roadhouse into? Oh my god.
Yes, Roadhouse. For those who don't know, Roadhouse is a very famous 80s film with Patrick Swayze. And it was iconic. It was one of Patrick Swayze's most iconic roles next to Ghost. And they decided to remake it with Jake Gyllenhaal. At first, I was like, wait, no, they're remaking Roadhouse. That feels blasphemous. It's like remaking Back to the Future. Like, this is an iconic film. You can't remake Roadhouse. I was supposed to say Ghost House. You can't remake Roadhouse. But they did, and they did it wonderfully. Like, they really updated it for a modern time. Like, this is a ex-UFC fighter who something bad happened in the ring. He's trying to run away from it. Ends up being a bouncer at his roadhouse, which is now targeted by sort of a mafia group.
Yeah.
So he has to protect the roadhouse from this group. It's a very simple bash 'em up violence film, but Jake Gyllenhaal is fucking fantastic in this film.
I hate myself for not even thinking about Roadhouse.
And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. It has a great story behind it as well. But it is, at the end of the day, a lot of fun.
Yep.
And to see him and McGregor fight it out like UFC fighters, oh, that was the pièce de résistance.
From what Nick just said, right, you might assume that Roadhouse is an action film, but it's not.
It's a nice drama as well,
It's
and a comedy as well.
I'm just going to call it a comedy because
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
His straightforward, no holds barred humor.
It's comedy, it's action, it's I want to say drama, but
Little
a
bit.
of drama. But when again, it's one of those films where you just jump in not expecting anything, and you come out and it's like, wow, this is why isn't anyone talking about it?
Yeah,
right.
And you really feel those punches. Whoever did the Foley's for this film, whoa, they really nailed those punches. You felt everyone.
The action, like a lot of the action scene in Roadhouse, you'll be like, no way they're gonna do that.
Yeah,
no way they're gonna do that. You know, I'm talking about how long has it been out already? The film?
I think February or March.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Right.
I mean spoilers.
Right.
Yeah.
The boat.
Yeah.
Car. The scene where before he starts a fight, it's like, do you have insurance? Or,
yes. That was great.
Where's the closest hospital from here? Oh my, it's amazing.
And he's the nicest, charming guy. That's the thing.
Right.
But
he doesn't play a character that makes you be like, F this guy, man. I hate
you
this guy.
really sympathize with this guy.
You really sympathize. Even with maybe McGregor's character not so much. but McGregor, if you see
McGregor's just McGregor.
If you see his interview, you know he's a very light-hearted, quick on his feet, like charming guy.
Yeah.
But the character he plays is like
such an ass.
That character, F this guy, man.
Yeah.
F this guy, and I hope something bad happens to him.
That's the Conor McGregor character.
Yeah.
And that last final fight sequence.
Oh my god!
How many knives?
It's
in
never
Conor
ending.
McGregor?
It was never ending, right? It's like you thought he's down already. No, bro.
He had like 3 or 4 knives in him, but he's still fighting. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Roadhouse.
I don't have another film, but I want to say Roadhouse as well because that is definitely a hidden gem. Like you go in not expecting anything, and again you come out and be like, this is such an amazing film.
Yes, Roadhouse is definitely on there. It may not be like a classic film by any stretch of the word, but it is a lot of fun that you might rewatch again.
Agreed.
Because I would watch it again for the fight sequences. Agreed. Oh, Roadhouse. Sorry, but Roadhouse. Watch that. It's on Amazon Prime.
Roadhouse.
I think,
That's it for the list.
That's most of the list. Those are my honorable mentions for this year.
I think this actually covers up a very nice half an hour chunk of our time.
It does.
Yeah.
Thank you again for watching. If you would, and listening, because I keep forgetting this is also a podcast. Yeah. If you want to follow Clappercorns, you can find us at Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Go and follow, subscribe to those channels, because that's where all the updates will be. Where can they find Renegade Radio?
They can find Renegade Radio at RRP Malaysia.
It's good that you remember it.
Yeah, RRP Malaysia, right? If you want to learn more about Malaysian podcasts and everything podcast related, go to Instagram or TikTok at RRP Malaysia.
And also, if you are liking this show, please do support us because we now have a Ko-fi account for Clappercorns, ko-fi.com/Clappercorns, or you can go to the link in the bio. It's there. Help donate a little bit to keep the show running because we want to do more great and bigger things. And your help and support would really help this whole thing along. I say help a lot.
Yeah.
Help.
Thank you.
So, I am Nick Dorian.
And I'm Kelvin Tay.
Keep watching the movies.
Goodbye. Nick, I have a question for you.
Yes.
In Epic Arcade, we have this thing called the scale of epicness.
Yeah.
And it's a tier list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
The lower the number, the less recommended it is.
Okay.
The higher the number, the more recommended it is, right?
Okay.
And we have a scale of epicness.
Yeah.
Do you want to do one for ClapperTalks?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just brainstorm a bit here, right?
Okay.
Okay. What would you call the scale of epicness? Because it's Epic Arcade. That's why we call it the scale of epicness. And games like GTA 5, for example, that is a 5 out of 5. And 5 out of 5 means that you die, also you must play.
Yeah.
Right? Scale of 3 is, it's great, but wait for a sale.
Yeah.
A scale of 1 is don't even bother looking at it.
What should we call it?
Clapper scale? The weight of clapperness?
I actually wanted to say something along the lines of like the clap meter. But I feel like that sounds wrong.
Clapper...
How many claps would you give it on the clapper wheel?
I was...
On the clapper scale?
Yeah.
How many claps would you do on the...
How many claps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No. How many clapboards would you... No.
Actually, no. Let's do that. How many claps on the clapper scale?
Yeah.
Because then instead of saying it, we do this.
Okay, which will be
And
picked
that's
up
the
anyway.
clap.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what it is.
Okay, clapper scale.
Yes, on the clapper scale.
On the clapper scale.
Yeah.
All right,
Because
cool.
I like to just put clapper in front of every word. That's
Obviously.
the theme.
Thank you, Nick.
Clapper chords, clapper
I'm going to go
doors,
into a
clapper
break
scale.
real quick.